Yo, 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 yo. One more? Could be one more. I think it's one more. Bang. Bang. Death. Broken 15-minute structure, but tapped into our area of interest. Right? Higher time frame movement. That low, 388.25. This closure at 390. So we have technically failed underneath this as well. Do I have this recording going? I have this recording going. Right? That's a nasty top, but it's got to validate. That's its job. That's its first job. Right? That's its first job. This area, obviously, bullish trend. Now, this is not a structural swing, and yet we bounced into it anyway, right? So this is the interesting thing, depending on where you guys learn market structure from. In my opinion, again, we look at the attempts to reverse the trend. That gives areas power, and then you have your SNDRs inside of them that provide areas and locations for direction, right? So for example, if we zoom in on this here, we look at our 5-minute, pretty clear area of consolidation, gets liquidated and leaves. Now, we don't always get our tap in without it being liquidated, right? Usually your first tap will not liquidate. Your first tap will provide the break of structure, and then away you go, right? And then when we return to it, from an intermediate standpoint, now we've got our double bottom, bang, right? So why is that important? It's important because if we look at, this is definitely a swing structurally, which then provided the manipulation leg into the close. Did not give us any opportunity getting involved. Blasted, trades down, builds an SNDR overnight, and then just nukes. Midnight open, bang. We then run up, liquidate, and now we're trading back into this area of interest. This area of interest. So the question becomes, we would expect after this, from a higher time frame, we tap back in, and this should be your second distribution. If it's not violent, we're not ready yet. We're not ready yet. It could liquidate this high. It could come for this one. That will give you your wedge wherever that ends up trading up into, right? You've got midpoint of this. We've already tapped into it, actually. Don't really see a lot that I'd like. You could argue this, perhaps, if we're looking at projections. But essentially, I'm looking at higher prices, at least right now, right? Until proven otherwise. We have Jolts at 10 o'clock. That's going to be violent. Jolts is violent. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So we'll see where it ends up going. Right? But for me, again, is this violent or lethargic? Morning, Wing. Lethargic. Right, you got your second distribution here. Breaks, taps back in, gone. Violent, and yet it then trades back in here. As soon as this starts trading back in here, no shorts. No shorts. Why? Because this is supposed to be violent. Instead, we get this. Happy days, right? Anybody going long is just getting chopped up. This could take this low, it did. Or it can bounce here and then leave. Sometimes you will see this, right? And then you get some sort of double bottom. Essentially what you're looking for, while these lethargic movements are happening, what are we looking for? You're looking for the shove down that fails. Didn't happen here. This one even broke the high. Didn't happen here. Right? Away we go. Put ourselves on the right side of the charts. Was there an entry at 933? An aggressive one, but that would have been the failure at the open. This trades up, trades down, and then this just blasts off. Right? This is like an ape. Or we're like, okay, how exactly do we enter here? We have to have sort of structural reasons, right? Because this could have done multitude of different things. And say we were here, we might have expected the double bottom to then lift, and then this is sort of confirmation. We're obviously break even. But we want to see what happens here as our position evolves. That's beautiful, RC, if you did. Nice trade, bro. Nice trade, bro. Very curious to see if this closes inside or not. There's your 5. Definitely closed above. Oh yeah, lethargic movement, double bottom. Take your shot with the stop below. Right? Whatever that ends up looking like. Usually there will be some emotional response. Why? Because they want everybody shorting the hell out of it, don't they? This very likely will put it in a new high. Now, it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening for Jolts. Chopping around right now. Might need a second sweep. We'll see. Strong response. Again, we're determining whether or not this 15-minute closes above or not. And we're inside of this move that we're expecting to be terminus. We're going to find out pretty quick. That should yield more upside now. Even as weak as it is. Might need a second sweep. We'll see. Right. Again, we're looking for 23s. This will be my first trade of the day. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And again, this is mainly from this closed above, trading back in, second sweep failing. We should take the high. We're inside of our extension, so we're getting very extended, but the expectation is that this closes above, and then we figure out what we're going to do in terms of jolts, right? Did anybody grab anything in here? Or are we waiting for 950? Very, very fair to suggest we're waiting. New 15-minute candle in 15 seconds. As they scale in. Runner break even at 91. But this should continue. Here's your new 15-minute candle. Okay, that's awesome. We talked a little bit in post-market yesterday about different things we can quantify and measure. You guys might be surprised to find that your window of high probability in terms of what you see, what you focus on in the charts, could very well be between 10 and 10:30. It could very well be between 10:30 and 10:35, or 10:20, sorry, and 10:25 or 35. It could be at 9:15 before open. Time of our setup and everything else, depending on our ability to focus or what we look at, can usually be, or can very well be, the difference maker. But only measure something and quantify it if it leads to a change. If it leads to a change in the actions you take. Otherwise, it's just useless information. That's going to drive you mental. Okay, my runner got stopped. I don't necessarily think that this is still negative. We might have to trade into the imbalance here. But we got jolts in 15 minutes. This is traded into the extension. The idea was imbalance and gone. We didn't get imbalance and gone. We got imbalance and got held up. So whether it accumulates here and continues on or otherwise, who knows? But sit on my hands now. Did not hold this whole move. Yeah, I can understand that. If you're looking at this and this starts blasting, like obviously it looks great in hindsight, right? You might be able to expect something like this, I suppose, Paul. I'm a bit paranoid by Trump tweet damage. What if the tweets are in your favor? That is optimistic. I've been around long enough that I've seen the market the day that Trump got COVID. I've seen the overnight session when COVID was released. You want to talk volatility? This is where I was born as a futures trader. February 2020. When he first stepped in. Or stepped out, or whatever the case was. Right? My point is that you cannot look at outcome. News, other events, etc. We use structure. Why? Because we determine how the market moves. Right? And then specific things that we see in order to break structure. Such as this. Right? So if we're looking for an entry, ideally we have an SNDR in here. Now we had that here, which was responsible for this consolidation. Is this what we want to see? No. Right? Is there any confirmation trade in here for you guys? No. Right? So we've got 1, 2, 3, and now a violent move, and we can look and see, well, okay, I can understand it having a higher time frame movement from here. Hindsight, yes, but you're looking at this, and you're determining this coming after this. And then, looks like that trade would have worked out if I would have held on a little bit longer as well. Becomes a show me the chart and I'll tell you the news. And yesterday was a perfect case in point of that. We don't need to know what news is coming. Sometimes we can't get involved, other times we can, but we can certainly see bang and then see ya. Show me the chart, tell you the news. Tweet comes, and yet they were scaling in 5-10 minutes before on tariffs. Right? We go higher to go lower. We go lower to go higher. We follow the manipulation. We leave the outcome to the market. That gives us clarity. 36. 20 points. Did I hit this short? No. Could we look for something like this? Yep. This is probably your predominant one, but I would still consider this to be internal structure. We want to determine what this is going to look like. We're out now at 9:51. This push happened exactly at 9:50. Shocking. And now look at this. Maybe. 3 minutes left. Patience. Elon put out something that proves Fauci funded, excuse me, that lab in Wuhan, 40 mil. Of course he did. Of course he did. I got fired from work because I wouldn't take it. We've been saying this for years. Now finally it's being come to light. Why? Best thing that ever happened to me. question I always ask is, why releasing it now? Why are they releasing it now? Right? So this looked nasty. We need confirmation, and that confirmation better break order flow. We're still going up. Maybe we go for this high. Right? Still all gas, no brakes. All gas, no brakes. In fact, we're getting, well, probably from here. Oh my God. Shocker. Right where I entered. Do you guys find that me dictating price on TradingView without having live executions right beside it is better or impacting your guys' trading? I hate the idea of influencing trades. Better, yes. I think showing executions, or at least showing the profitability, which leads to the payouts, which whatever. They still haven't paid me out yet, but I'm expecting it. At least on that account. Just to show transparency that this is how you go from 0 to 100, right? But that's good. That's good. That's good. We are now at the high end and squeezing. All gas, no brakes. Even the 5 second. I suppose you could argue this. But usually like to be in on the change in order flow in the reversal, right? So like something like here or here, if you're trading on your lower time frames. In this, not so much, because you're expecting a little bit deeper of a pullback. You don't want to get clapped on that, right? This type of price action is just not necessarily for us. Not necessarily for us. $9.56. Good morning. Longs on any reason. Any pullback that can't. Still all gas, no brakes. Excuse me. Little dicey here, right? Pretty clear stop underneath. That's 18 points though. But again, what are we leaning on? That 950 reversal, closed bullish, right? Response was weak. Death. Death to shorts anyways. And so on and so on and so on. Let me get rid of this. I think that provided its job. We could still look at that. Where is it? Way up here. Is that feasible? I suppose it's feasible. Right now, I wouldn't bet against anything, any targets to the upside currently. But again, Jolt's 10 o'clock. You got a minute and a half. You're likely going to see some ranging or whatnot. I doubt we just continue blasting unless we're going to death dump. In fact, you're seeing these attempts to sell off here. That might be profit taking, or that could be initiative selling. Who knows? Who knows? Not for us to speculate. Not for us to speculate. But I'm hands off now. $600 per account so far, and left, what, 70, 80 points now on the table. I took 20. This is kind of why I'm trying to transition a little bit on my other accounts to I want to be long until proven like otherwise. Right? Rather than, okay, I want to be break even here, stopped out for a tick, and then it goes down another 3 points from my entry, and the trade's still valid. Like that's hard for me to take, and I'm evolving in that way. 10 seconds. Make sure you guys are out of positions if you're in something. Unless you have extremely high conviction in your setup, in which case, well, good luck to you. There goes that high. And no failure here is failure. Ooh, maybe not. To infinity. Would not bet against this. Would not be shorting, but also if this fails here, man, that's a nice bit of selling, but sitting on me hands. Dangerous. Dangerous. Only because we have this consolidation area here. If we bounce off of it, fine. Right? And this would be your aggressive trade to trade back down to this, and then you monitor and your position evolves. If you get that bounce down, we go sideways and then death, and you don't get taken out, break even, happy days. If it liquidates, then you're really happy, right? But first trade is still the aggressive movement, right? Personally, this is a very aggressive sell, and I think we're still going higher, but that's just my my read on it. And I think that given the 15-minute rocketing, you have to be very aggressive to look at these objectives being finalized. But for confirmations, obviously we've got nothing here, which is what we really should be looking for. And even then, our last structural candle or last structural swing was actually That high was 506. That closed at 507. So technically we were all inside of a range of this, which means we have no valid swing here. Interesting. Interesting. How funny is that? Looking for a genuine attempt for the market to sell off and see what ends up happening. Right? Ideally, we get something like this, and that would lead to more upside. Other than that, I think this is very undecided right now. Despite what this looks like, despite what that looks like. And that might mean that we sweep above. Just not seeing the depth that I think they are hoping for, even though we've taken this high, which means they're accumulating in here. Spike sideways. Not exactly the topping price action that you would expect from a high a day. Which means strong possibility of trend resumption. It will announce itself. It will announce itself. Well, that I suppose was into the close, but get rid of that too. Right? Usually you get that strong follow through. Sweep, follow through, sweep, follow through. Right? Even this signaled a bit of a pullback, which at least traded back into this before running the highs. You aggressive traders are probably, well, depends how aggressive you are. There goes your high. Now what? Important area at 603s. The open of this candle. Right, we've now swept, traded through. This will be interesting to see if it bounces or not. Right? But again, very, very aggressive to be shorting against this sort of price action. You're looking for pretty clear sweeps and failures. Now, the price is speeding up, so I'm very concerned about the longevity of this, but that doesn't necessarily mean death, but it does mean something's about to happen. Right? Here's your 5 so far. 15 still nasty. Got 7 minutes left on that, which is valid. I think given that this is a higher time frame movement, you'd probably wait for a 15-minute sweep and things to really tighten up until that comes through. The only reason we're even looking at this right now is because we've taken an objective and we are determining if we're going to range or continue this small pullback bullish trend, which is getting people shorting and then caught offside as they're not taking things quickly. Right? This high should deliver to where? This fractal. It did. We found actually an equal lows double bottom. as we just continue this on. So if you are shorting, you want to be going break even, as your trades should be extremely quick. You're either going to be profitable extremely quickly or you're going to get wrecked. Right? This is just a tight channel. This is not conducive to strong shorting. Right up until it isn't. Right up until it isn't. What did we say initially? Would I look at this retracement move? Nope. I must have this manipulation leg. Yeah, that's what I had initially. Bum, 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 bum. You could argue this, I suppose, and then we're right inside of it, but I like what I have here. And that's just for consideration. That's not, I'm going to short 674 and away we go. That's, I'm expecting something to happen in this area. And then if we get continuation, well, it doesn't take the place of structure. Bum, 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 bum. I suppose that's feasible. Yeah, I mean, essentially what we're looking at is we lethargically pulled back, and I was expecting a third push if it was going to fail at all, right? Because we did break structure. We then broke this SNDR, but we didn't get the higher time frame shove away from it, right? Usually you would expect this to at least break order flow and then trade below here. Obviously, we didn't get any of that. And I would have been interested in the long if it traded back down at like 350 or so for a bounce maybe, right? So if we're trading inside, like, I don't think there's, well, I suppose technically there's an imbalance. I suppose technically there's an imbalance. That's just a liquidity void, which is nasty. But essentially what we're looking at is we failed to make a valid low, so we did take this high, which we got, and now we're 50 points higher. The question becomes, we didn't take this low, and we formed a valid one technically, right? So we're still inside of this higher time frame swing. Do we take this at 965, 66? I think that's fair, right? Unless we get a major change in order flow, which we tried yesterday and we couldn't. So I'm kind of looking like, do we expect like this? Feasible, maybe, right? This is a higher time frame movement, which is why I'm not really keen on shorting against it. But in terms of how far up it can go, I mean, this is the strongest form of bullish price action. Every bear bar is getting bought. Every one of them. Right? Now, usually this leads to climactic price movement, and if it flips bearish, especially if a higher time frame wants to go bearish, wherever that ends up being, maybe it is in this spot. Right? We're certainly getting that right now. 56, like one tick off of what we projected. Cool. We've got no structure here if we want to unload. No structure at all. Right? You could argue something like this. Maybe. Mother of goodness. But I mean, like, this is aggressive. First valid high actually formed. We'll see what ends up happening. But yeah, in terms of objectives and thinking like where this could go to, we've got the manipulation leg. We're inside of the midpoint of your higher time frame zone technically. Right? It's a little bit higher as well. We don't really have anything on this way down that was of significance. We tapped into this yesterday, and that's what started this movement down. Fine. Right? Cleared out these highs into this zone, but couldn't break order flow. Right? So if we're going to look at 15-minute structure, we then trade back up and fail. We obviously did not get that. No entry for that sort of short idea. Here we are. One tick. One tick. So what we're determining right now is just how much trouble we're in if we're looking anywhere for long. Like, say we're looking at 603 here. Okay, cool. Is that substantiated? We failed here. Maybe we're looking to sweep underneath this candle, right? Maybe that's your idea, where if we're going to be inside of a range, you know, maybe we get our pullback and then we fail to validate a 5-minute high and we're looking higher. Okay, cool. Maybe that's the way you like trading. You got equal lows here. I think that's a valid thesis at 92.5. And probably what people that are shorting, assuming this holds, right? And you're looking at some sort of change in order flow. We've got our sweep. This would be something like this to maybe take that objective and go. And now what you're looking at is how do I stay out of trouble, like, if I consider longing here, right? Like, how do I manage risk in that sense? And the answer is how this trades down to it. So usually you guys all have, based off of your risk tolerance, a particular way of entering. Many of you will want some form of like this, right? Some of you would be comfortable if this did something like that and then trades up, and then you sort of have this sort of weak response here. Okay, cool. Right? Some of you might avoid it entirely if it does this and you don't care how much upside it comes. That's cool too. Right? This is your attempt to rally back up to here. We've now mitigated what we talked about, right? Who could have predicted this? And now we're determining how violent this movement down is. And people will look at this. This was your last leg that just occurred. Maybe that's an area of interest to the 23.6 and then failure. Maybe this provides the movement to trade up and take the highs. That's a fair assumption. I'm currently not in any positions right now. I want to see what this movement's like. If we get lethargic movement, then I'm looking for longs, whether that's here or here. If this is a violent movement, then I probably sit on my hands because we have no structure here. So we want to react to who's in control. Ideally, we want the higher time frame to be in control still, and we know that based off of the lower time frame having the pullback. If the higher time frame's pulling back, we might not even want to take a trade from here. We'll see. regardless, I think all of you guys have a very clear idea, or should have a very clear idea, of exactly what you want to get involved based off of what you focus on in the chart. And that's kind of the only difference, I think, between any of us in here. We all see the same market, right? It's not like price isn't at 632 for me or for Mikey or for any of you guys. But we focus on very different things. Chop, 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 chop. We done our pullback? I think that went to the 23.6 of this move. If it's done, it's going to be done here. Whoop. Oh, you show it afterwards, you guy. Nice trade, Tom. Nice execution. Whoop. Could be. It's a little bit violent of a movement back in. Whoop. Can it validate, or is it going to fly now? That'll be nasty if it can't. Nasty if it can't. Ooh, 13 seconds. Nasty. Nasty. I don't think you guys want it trading underneath this at, what is that, 635? It very well could tap into this and bounce, but this sweep was gross, right? 663 half equal highs. Could be saving them for later. Could be saving them for later. We're going to find out here in about 30 seconds or so. Just chopping around in here. Violent into that order block. Lift or no? Or just death? It's got to break order flow at least, which is this 15 low. Strong possibility of a range here. I don't like those equal highs, but this is a very violent movement down. Looking for this to lift back up. Mainly just because I don't think they're going to go down without a fight, without a major sweep. There's your trade back into the fractal. Major decision time here if we're going to be in a range or if we're going to just lift. More Nisnos. Good strength. Want continuation. Looking for 50s and then a blast through, ideally blast through this fractal of 49. Yuck. Go on, you good thing. I'm taking 2 off right now. I'm break even if it comes back down to here. I'm expecting, if we're going to range, we could still take, but I think we've taken this leg. All right, we found strength back up into this fractal. This is going sideways, which is good. We might get a sweep of this 35 half. But again, I'm leaning on this, not going bearish, right? This did not sweep. That's equal highs, not exactly ideal, but that low being 620, that low is being 615. This didn't sweep either, right? So I want to see this follow through, right? Could not break order flow, strong response, so expecting higher. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Want to see the aggressive shove here. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And now my stop goes underneath that candle. Give me them highs. Give me them highs. $28, $27. Ooh. The only reason it wouldn't take them now is as if they're saving them for later. Needs to defend these high 40s, low 50s here. bearish, not wild about that. Stop now going underneath this candle. Don't want this not defended. Being very aggressive here with my stop because of this possibility of leaving them for later. Still expecting it, which is the trade idea from here. The response. We could be building an SNDR here and it could wick me out. Fine. But I hit this with size. So I'm trading very aggressively and out. Okay. Not invalidated. Not invalidated, especially if this ends up closing within and we form a second doji, if you guys are still involved, but $10.29 and counting. Where's Mikey at? Nice, Brock. Way to get involved in that. Way to find a way. I know you're waiting for this. We're inside of our extension at 10.29, Mikey. Didn't get any sweep, nothing yet. Yuck. Been busy. Busy at 10:30 in the morning? Jeez. What's her name? That's gross. Right? 10:30, be very careful. Not wild about this. Equal highs still on the 5. Cautious. Do we have equal lows and equal highs? Not quite. One tick. One tick. Don't like this range. Fair enough. Neither do the shorts. Don't like this for shorting. Don't like that for shorting. Don't care about that for shorting. Could we unload? Probably. But like, if you're shorting here, hypothetically, it's gotta break order flow. It's gotta break it. Right? For you to have this position evolve to this. Or at least this. Otherwise, this is just one end of the range to the other end of the range. One end of the range to the other end of the range. Right? And then you trail aggressively. And you'll find that 10 to 15% of your trades end up doing this. And happy days. But is it not better to make sure that you lock in something and avoid this? And then having to make a decision. Well, I'm in from here, but do I hold this? Right? Do I hold this? Hard to get involved long when it doesn't sweep internally. We didn't generate anything to sweep over here, so we expect to take something. Didn't. Hard to get involved in long there. You might consider something like this. These are valid with narrative. With narrative. Right? But you're still trading in the middle of a range. Right? It's a little bit different having this expectation and getting involved here. Very different than knowing we're in a range now and getting involved here for this. Right? Very, very different. That's why poker players and mathematicians end up being better, well, maybe not mathematicians, physicists for sure, than accountants. And we can't judge these trades based off of outcome. They might work 30% of the time. And you're still unprofitable. But it happens just enough for us to continue to want to do it. So we'll wait. This could be building for something quite expansive. Right? Maybe a push to 750. It could be the finalization of the day. And we get one more shove. Which I think is the expectation. Why? Because we're not seeing topping price action come in. That doesn't mean longing here at 650 for 13 points. Right? It also doesn't mean, okay, I got the 5-second time frame in here and I got my change in order flow. Zoom out. Zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. Right? They're saving liquidity here. Why are they saving it? They also have equal highs here. Are they going to execute it? Ooh, this could be the time. This could be the time. What did we learn from yesterday? Change in what? Do you see it? Do you see it? Find out. If she's going to go now. Personality and character are the same thing. Personality is a function of your habits, I think. And I think character is a function of your values. So I think they're very different. In terms of the charts, I don't think they're the same sort of thing. Who could have predicted this? Do we see it? Spikes down, spikes up, spikes down, spikes up, Wait a sec. Wait a sec. What happened with Justin Trudeau? I mean, his character and his personality didn't change. How do you make somebody change their behavior? Word starts with L. And by the way, this works for yourself as well. For any habit you want to break, you have to get leverage. Leverage. Take out the trash. No. No sex for a month. I'll do it. Okay. Away you go. Basically what Trump did in country terms. Fix your borders. No. Okay. Watch your economy go bye-bye. And your energy. Okay. Where do I sign? Thank you very much. Right inside of it. Does it hold? I think that usually with these extensions, you want to see gone. Usually you'll get this accumulation, this failure spike, and then it moves. Right? So we kind of got our first, second, maybe our third, depending if this closes bearish or not. Right now, shorting against this. Yikes. Right? You want to see at least a change in order flow, which would then give you a little bit of cause. Maybe. But it's got to achieve something on your 5. Yeah, I mean, China's economy is insane. It's had double-digit GDP growth for quite some time in the 21st century. China is a monster in terms of economy. But it still does not touch the United States. It still does not touch the United States. The issue with the States is their dollar. It's actually not the issue, is their debt. Right? Which means you print more money, which means inflation goes up. significantly. Whether they tell us or not is something else. Whether they tell us or not is something else. But it's still the reserve currency of the majority of the world. Whoop. All your hopes and dreams. All your hopes and dreams. While I eat oysters and fish in Mexico. Sold. Although not the oysters. Not the oysters. I'm hit or miss on oysters. I've had some oysters that I could eat literally every day for the rest of my life. Like, they're that nice. I've also had some oysters that are horrific. And that's in Vancouver. Right? Oh, Mikey, what's that place downtown in Gastown where you shuck your own? I can't remember the name of it. It starts with an S. Sharky's? No, not Sharky's. Oh, that's gonna bother me. Sorry, guys. 1 sec. 1 sec while we watch this. Oysters downtown Vancouver. Yeah, Fanny Bay. Don't ask. Don't ask. No, you gotta do the sauce. Fun fact about Les, by the way, is that when she first came to Canada, I was like, okay, you've got to try sushi. You've got to try sushi. You've never had sushi like this. It's all you can eat. Let's go. She took one bite, and that was the end of that for about 4 years. Recently, best food in the world. Can't get enough of it. Sushi is delightful. Yeah, it's an acquired taste. She might have. She didn't tell me about it. Well, there's sushi and then there's sushi, right? But it's definitely a taste where you bite into it the first time and all you taste is what? You taste the seaweed. Kind of like trading. Long. Oh, I'm a genius. I went long here. Long. Oh, I just blew my account. Like buying a CL. Man. Did everybody avoid going long in this? Raise your hands if we're safe. This is a valid zone, in fairness, right? You've got your protected low here now. We safe? SNDR broke. If we break structure, then we look like a genius, don't I? 673.5. Did I short it? No, I did not. Why? Wasn't really wild about how this was shoving. Now we're looking for the changed order flow. Right? Which means accumulation, possible manipulation. We're looking for first distribution to be here and break. This is looking toppy. You've got your 5-minute low here. 33.5, tapped off of it, 14 points up. What a schmuck. We want a body closure, validate that 5 minute. That's our next objective. And if it's going to do it, you got a minute and 44 seconds to do it. So this should be pretty violent underneath this low, if it's going to do it. I think. See if this imbalance delivers to that end. $10.49. Oh yeah, whole bunch of stuff lower. So it's very important price action coming in here. Boom. Boom, shakalaka laka laka. Anybody short? Break even above this candle. If she's gonna go, she's gonna drop. We got places to be. Tarty tree. Tarty tree. Let's go. Let's go, 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 let's go. That's nasty business. Come on. Giving it a few seconds to move, but not wild about that, right? Wanted that to close underneath. I still believe. Ooh, not so much anymore. No, I'm kidding. I'm stop at break even at 52 if this trades back up, which is possible given that it's getting held up here. But I'm expecting that 5 minute to go, and so on and so on and so forth, based off of price delivery and everything else going on here. Right? So far, we had this trade back up into this fractal. Right? We swept underneath, but we failed to take this high. We tried, and then we got bang, which means potential higher time frame delivery to this low, which would also be the 5 minute low. En route, potentially, to the 1 minute structure zone. And if I'm wrong, then I'm break even. If I'm wrong, then I'm break even. Never had caviar. Never. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go. Boom. Not today, you pricks. Not today. All right. Who could have predicted this? Not today. Not today. Anybody? Baby, I love the way. Every day. Yeah, yeah. Yep. Oh yeah, no. I took it off underneath this low. I gotta run, man. I can't manage any of this stuff. This is your intermediate time frame, though. This is your intermediate time frame. Bang, bang, bang. Possibly goodbye. Right now, if the problem is that it actually failed underneath this 5-minute low. So there's all kinds of caution going on in here, but you have your first, second, and then third push up, which we would expect that movement down. Now they could be still inside of the of this nonsense, right? We just validated a low, so caution on that. Caution on that, but man, oh man. Oh, Anthony, man. Yep. Just what is it? A crisp like 19 to 20 degrees. Crisp. 75. Is that it? $8 a.m. beach time. It's 10 a.m. there, which is delightful. Yeah. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this price action clinic. I have to now go and bundle up just to go outside, so we'll go over some of this stuff later. Hopefully we are marked safe. If you guys are green, fire a P and L in there so I can see what's going on, whereabouts you guys are at. Right? If you're sitting on your hands, that's cool too. But yeah, let's start really working towards some major progress. I know you guys are working on narrative and structure and whatnot, but if I don't know where you guys are at in P&L, then it's not really relevant me making money, right? And we'll go from there. Okay. Bye.